I guess he doesn't like the Yeonmi Park memes. Brother, I don't know what to tell you. Every day there's a new person that's famous for being stupid, and everybody, it seems like at least everybody online is immediately familiar with them after 48 hours. If you touch grass, you're 17 memes behind. Like, I'm like derelict by meme status at this point. I didn't sit down at my computer. Well, I sat down at my computer once this weekend. I typed Peepo Giggle. I got roasted for typing Peepo Giggle. Started an argument about class consciousness. All I did was type an emote. Everything's so political these days. People just don't wanna work these days. Why would they? You raise a good point, I guess. I think people like would want to work more if the jobs, like a lot of them just sort of suck. Like, did you see the insane thread going around where the dude said like everybody in America is like high on pot 24/7 now? And then like he said like he went to the dispensary to get a pipe cleaner to clean his tobacco pipe, but they don't let you buy something for only $2. You have to at least spend $5 to use your card. So he ended up buying a CBD gummy. He said, like, I took it and flash forward to 3 a.m. Oh, hi. I don't know. It looks like some dipping sauce, right? No? Okay. He's like, flash forward to 3 a.m. I'm having like a near-death experience in bed. So that's funny, like, for obvious reasons to begin with. But then also somebody in the replies was like, dude, this is so true. I went to a corporate cell phone store. I had the number of wins wrong, by the way. But I had the number of sorry, my brain is so fried from my CBD gummy. I went to a corporate cell phone store, and when I walked in, there was nobody there. And then when I opened the door to the back room, 6 of them were in there smoking weed. First off, no, you didn't. Like, you definitely did not open the door to the back room. That's, like, psychotic. But, like, also, who cares if they smoke weed, bro? The job is easy and it sucks. Why shouldn't they be high working at, like, a Sprint mobile kiosk in, like, a strip mall? Like, who cares? We're like the forerunners over here in Vancouver. Like, you know how many... I just assume that, like, pretty much everybody who serves me... That phrasing could have been better. But I mean, like, as a waiter or a waitress, I'm like, I just assume they've been high since, like, 2012. And why wouldn't you be? You know? Like, I'm sure it's not your ideal 8 hours is to, like, take orders from other people. So you don't have to be... like on your A game to, you know, if you work at like a pub, you're like, oh, they all want beers. You know, it's relatively easy to remember. I don't care if you're high or you got like AirPods in or whatever. It doesn't bother me at all. He's beating the not based allegations. I will say though, we did go to a restaurant this weekend. We had some truly horrendous service. So maybe I'm not beating the based allegations. So I only left a 10% tip. Like, that's just enough to make both North Americans and Europeans angry. What happened? Well, let me tell you what happened, okay? It's a strong squad there. It was a pub. We had our kid with us, so we're the assholes already. I'll save you having to write it. We waited, let's try this. 10 minutes before they even took our order. When they took our order, we ordered some chicken tenders for our child, and then 2 entrees, one for my wife, one for myself. They said, do you want the chicken tenders to come out first, or do you want them to come out all at once? We said all at once. The chicken tenders came out first. Okay, it's not a major problem. To drink, I had a Diet Pepsi. Finished it within a minute and a half. no refills even came to offer for the rest of the dining experience. Okay, all these things on their own, not so bad, but in aggregate, when they brought the entrees, we didn't have any cutlery. My wife said, can we get some cutlery? The guy said, okay, sure. Another 5-6 minutes until the cutlery came out. So we're just sitting there like looking at the food but not being able to eat it. Then I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know. Just take a polar bear. Then when they came over, they said, can we get you anything else? This is after we finished. And I said, can I have the bill? Waited like 15 minutes. And then like to the point where we were like, maybe we should just pay with cash and like leave before like the server comes back. And then she came back and was like, can I get you anything else? And I said, the bill. And she said, oh, right, the bill. Then when I got the machine, she was like, the weather's so nice. Are you guys doing anything fun today? And I was like, not really. You had your chance. Sorry, but it's true. So basically nothing bad happened? What did you expect? I was going to be like the waitress pulled out a gun and shot us? Like, nothing bad happened to them either. They got 10% more of a tip than they should have gotten. A lot of tip discourse again. Have you noticed that? I don't even know why I'm feeding you, but there's a Twitter account that went viral for 55 Vocaliber. A Twitter account that goes viral for like posting receipts from tips that they get at their job, and some of them are pretty bad. And like, let's just imagine you live in a world where tipping is normal, okay? If you're a European, then it's going to be hard for you. But in North America, it's very common, okay? Standard tip, like 15%, 20%. It used to be 15 was standard. Now if you say you tip 15, people are like, you're an asshole. Because the new thing that people lie about is they say they tip 25. So you got to say you do at least 20 if you want to stay in the conversation. Anyway, they post receipts. Some of them are pretty bad. Some of them is like $53 bill. The person tips $2, rounds it up to 55. That's pretty bad, okay? Like for North America. But one of them was getting me because the bill was 170 and they tipped 30 to round it up to 200. And people were roasting them. They're like, they tipped 18% on this bill and it's $170. The higher that the bill gets, the higher percentage that the proportion of the tip should be as well. And I was like, don't lump the dude tipping 30 on 170 into the, say, the dude that's got $2 on a $53 bill. I'm just saying, I got no problem with tipping because it's easier to just accept it than to change it. I don't have any power in that department. But like, if we're gonna start shaming people for like a 18% tip or something like that, all I'm gonna say is like it's gonna backfire. People are gonna say if 18's not acceptable, then I get ready for 0. I tend to tip 20. I mean, there was like a period of like a year and a half when stuff started reopening more seriously after COVID, where I made an effort to tip even more just because I was like, you guys basically got screwed. But there is like some tip inflation now, man. Like there's tipping on everything. It used to be like, you know, if you got a tip option at a coffee shop after just getting like a drip coffee handed to you, you were kind of like, really? A tip option? Nowadays, like that's standard. And at Subway, there's a tip option on like the Interact machine when you order your sandwich and you're like, what the hell are we doing here? Again, I understand tipping. I wouldn't say I'm pro tipping. I would say I'm pro, you know, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. You know, I live in North America. Tipping is... Did I stomp on something? I live in North America. Tipping is standard here, so I tip. When I go to Japan and tipping is non-standard, I don't tip. All I'm saying is if you could take it too far. And I think we've probably taken it too far. It'd be nice to walk it back just a little bit. Tipping is bad for the work environment as a whole. I would disagree. I would say that the standard of tipping existing is bad for the work environment because it enables the employer to pay lower wages. But because they're already enabled to pay lower wages, then it's really bad for the work environment to not tip. I mean, I've had the same position for, like, my entire adult life. You can be against tipping, but in order for it to be, like, ideologically consistent, that you think you're doing something well, you have to be doing more than just saying, I don't support tipping, and then not tipping. You have to be, like, emailing your congressperson, like, once a month, and going, like, hey, we need to pay servers a living wage and abolish tipping. Also, the other thing that's hard to tease apart with, like, tipping is I feel like everybody is, like, recycling the same lie that we all heard from, like, our uncles growing up. I can't be in here. I'm gonna die. Like, they're always like, well, I tip 15% because my friend's friend's sister's friend worked as a waitress in a high-end bar, and she made $750 a night on tips, and guess what, brother? It's all under the table. And I'm like, it maybe happened, like, to one lady, but then the story has become so mimetic at this point that it's used the same way people are like, you know, I never give money to the homeless because there's a homeless guy that lives in a city that I went to once. Well, I didn't go there, but my friend lived there. Actually, they didn't live there. They went on vacation there. And they said at night, they packed up all their stuff and a Mercedes came and picked them up and drove them back to a mansion on the other side of town. And I'm like, nobody who's told this story has ever actually seen it themselves, but they're like all 100% sure that it happens all the time. Just like my friend is a teacher and you wouldn't believe, she was going through the attendance and kids' names these days. She said, La'a, is La'a here? And then the lady held up her hand and said, it's actually Ladasha. These are things that I don't think ever happens in living memory, but for some reason, they all exist in our shared cultural stories. Also, like, we have to tip waiters and waitresses well, because they also go out to eat and then they got a tip. I gotta tell you, by the way, I think I'm becoming European. Can I get some +2s from the Europeans in chat? Previously, let me give you a little slice of life. I have to buy cat food once a month. I go to the PetSmart. They scan the pet food for me. They say, do you want to donate $2 to save pets from the shelter? I say, sure. They get down on their knees. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You're the first person this month to do it. I say, I'm just doing my job, just doing what I can, okay? Yesterday, went to Canadian Tire. No tellers at all. None. It's all self-checkouts and then a security guard at the end to make sure you're not stealing. So I can't fit all the shit from Canadian Tire onto the little piddly-ass scale that they have, because you're there buying, like, big boxes of shit, and then the scale is, like, this big. So I scan my own shit and Jenga it up, and then I have a second load that I'm going to have to do. But I'm running the first one through. It says, do you want to donate $2 to Jumpstart Charity? I said, no, sorry. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it myself and get all the credit. Your ass didn't do anything. You didn't even scan the barcode this time. And then I checked out, and then I put the second load through and it asked me again. And then I said no. And then there was shit that I needed from Canadian Tire, but Canadian Tire didn't have it. So I drove my ass across town to the damn Home Depot. I go through the Home Depot. I scan the thing. It doesn't fit on the scale. So an attendant has to come over and they're like, I don't know. I bought the rat poison. The attendant had to type in my birthday. And then she said, what's your birthday? And I told her, and she typed it in, and it was like invalid format. And then she said, what's your birthday? And I told it to her again. I said, you need to put the day first. Instead of putting the month first, you got to put the day first. And then she typed it in the same way again, and it went invalid format. And she said, what's going on here? And I said, you got to type in the day first. And then after it finally went through, it was like, do you want to donate $2 to charity? And I'm like, no! I'm buying the shit that I'm buying. It used to, now you got tip options at the self-checkout at the Home Depot. It's crazy. At first I thought like the anti-tip discourse was getting like a little bit overblown, but now it's actually like, it's insanity. Holy cow. It's beyond reason at this point. Every single transaction is like, do you want to add like 5% on top? What's the moral of the story? When I was rarely asked, I was always happy to help. Now that I'm asked all the time, nobody's getting anything. You did too much. It's like Mouth bringing a pack of gum to school, you know? If you ask for a stick every day, pretty soon he's not going to let you know that he has any gum. Anyway, I'm sick of it, is what I'm trying to say. Also, Canadian Tire and Home Depot, you have to have a larger scale. The scale at Canadian Tire is the same size as the scale at the grocery store. That's you could be buying like a table saw there. How am I supposed to put a table saw on the same shit that like weighs 2 mini avocados? Don't use the scale? Then their ass sends private security in to check your receipt. Takes them 25 minutes even though there's only 2 items on it. What about Costco? I don't use the self-checkout at Costco, and this is like at every other store I use the self-checkout. 2 reasons. One is a lot of them these days only have the self-checkout. The other one is line is typically shorter and I'm faster at scanning than the cashier at most stores. Not bragging. Why do I use the regular cashier at Costco? Because they're fucking zooming, man. They scan faster than I could. They're incredible. I'm the one holding up the cashier at Costco. They're always like, they got the gun ready, and I'm like, what's up? And they're like, your membership, please. And I'm like, oh, right, sorry. Here you go. And then I put the membership back in my wallet, and then they scan everything, and they say, like, that'll be $170. And I'm like, oh, right. On this, please. Like, they're so fast. My wife's got she's got a yellow moon on Discord. What am I supposed to do? Saw it and then I saw it say, yellow moon means she's away. None of you stand so tall. Yellow moon means no Discord call. It's a yellow moon. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yellow, yellow, yellow moon.